Good morning. Before we get into today's project, have you subscribed yet? Because if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video. And this way you can see when I make a mistake or make something look nice or anything here in the garden. You never know what I'm going to get up to. Good morning. Today I'm going to be taking care of or working on this section of the garden. This is what I call the driveway bed. And as you can see, the driveway is right there and the house is right here and sort of situated in between. And this space has evolved over the past, 2.5 years, 2 years or so that I've lived here. And initially this was all just grass. But I didn't want just grass because it looks dull and boring. And this is one of the few shady spots I have in the garden. Now during the summertime, this spot is actually in full sun until about 12, 1 o'clock, about that time. For the rest of the day, it's in shade, so I can turn around and put shade-loving plants into this area, and I do have a few. I have some hostas in here, which you can't see right now because they've all died back, and I've got a couple of agapanthus, which do well here, and a few other plants. Last year, I added into this space a couple of oak leaf hydrangeas, and the oak leaf hydrangea does prefer some shade. So again, put these two plants in here and kept them in pots, and I shifted them around a bit to kind of try to get the right spot where they would seem to do well. Again, this one is the furthest out towards the front. Hopefully you can see where I'm pointing here. I don't have a cameraman, so I just wing all this. This is all just me winging it. But the sun does shift in a particular way, and the crepe myrtle behind it does provide shade for it, so it does well here. The one closest to you guys on the camera there, this one again does well. It gets plenty of sun when it needs it, and then for the rest of the day it's in shade. But this bed is kind of neglected. This area is neglected, and it's also right now, especially with these two oak leaves sort of sticking out, it's a bit of a pain to mow. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to expand the bed. But before I do that, I'm going to turn around and do a bit of weeding. And then I will show you how I'm going to expand the bed and what will be coming up in 2023 in this area, what I plan on doing with it in this area. Yeah, I'll get to weeding. Okay, so now that the weeding is pretty much done, is that a weed or is that I think I spotted another weed. There's going to be weeds that I missed in here. I'm not trying to do a perfect job. I'm just trying to get a majority of whatever weeds were in here. And honestly, there weren't that many. A lot of the issues that I saw was just dead growth from the agapanthus or some of the other plants in here. Hostas, there was a canna in the back that was, rotted and gushy, but it's what it does this time of year. Hopefully it comes back in the springtime, which I think it will. I see some new sprouts pushing up already. But once the ground starts warming up, then a lot of these plants will start bouncing back. The next step is I'm going to show you how to extend the bed via the no-dig method. And if you don't know what no-dig is, go look up on YouTube Charles Dowding. He is the master, the /king of no-dig. Well, I'll explain that here in a second. Okay, so you may be wondering what no-dig is if you're not an experienced gardener. If you're an experienced gardener, all this is old hat to you, maybe. Or maybe you've never actually tried no-dig. The premise is pretty simple. The theory is that there are organisms living in the ground beneath our feet. And there are. There's worms and there's microbes and bacteria and fungi and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, and you can go watch other YouTube channels all about learning the living soil, as they call it. Instead of tilling it up or trying to rip up all the grass, basically what you're going to do, and this is one of the reasons I enjoy it, is because I don't have to do that. I'm going to lay cardboard on top of the ground, and then I'm going to put fresh compost onto the cardboard to hold it down, and I can mulch on top of that if I so wish to choose. Again, if you've watched the channel for a while, you've seen me do this before. It's really simple and it works. And what happens is the cardboard, in fact, this whole bed was once upon a time done with cardboard. And what happens is the cardboard breaks down pretty quick. I'm in growing zone 8A, eastern North Carolina. I get rain and I get heat. And that just breaks the cardboard down really fast, which adds organic material, as it were, to the soil, especially if your soil, like right in this spot, is pretty hard and compacted. By doing the no dig, you save yourself the trouble of all that hassle. The cardboard disappears on you. And nowadays, who doesn't have a lot of cardboard? I mean, I think we all do a lot of shopping on Amazon or Walmart or wherever, and you want to get in all these cardboard boxes. I have quite a few of these from the birdie beds that I've gotten for my birthday and Christmas that I need to dispose of. And what better way than to turn around and place it down on the ground. Now, a couple of things, if you're new to this, you've never seen this before, take all the tape that you can off of the cardboard. If you don't, you're going to find it in the garden later when you're digging it up because the tape will not break down. The other thing is that don't use cardboard that has a shiny finish to it. That really doesn't break down all that well from my understanding. So you can use things that are like this printed on because from my understanding, again, it's a soy ink. So again, it breaks down naturally. It disappears. You'll never see it ever again once it breaks down. But again, simple premise. So let me lay out my cardboard here and then you'll see the shape of the bed and I'll start adding the compost and then we'll move on to the next thing. Well, all right, there you go. The bed has been expanded, weeded first, and then cardboard laid down and then expanded as to how I wanted it, leaving just basically a sliver of grass along the side here. Now again, this just is the way I'm doing this bed. This bed itself is because of the slight slope to the driveway, it does get and retains moisture. Again, because the runoff from the driveway and then the fact that it's in shade good portions of the day. Some of the plants in here are doing well. Some of them not so hot. I may wind up pulling some plants in the springtime. But for right now, the bed has been expanded. I won't be planting into this probably until the springtime. Just give everything a chance to settle. There's only a few inches of compost that I put down. It's basically just to hold the cardboard down. It'll get wet. It'll soak up. It'll soak the cardboard. The cardboard will absorb moisture from the bottom. It'll all rot, and hopefully by springtime, most of it will be gone or in the verges of just disintegrating. When I do plant in here, though, depending upon what it is I'm planting, I will be adding more compost. I'll just simply move the mulch aside and add more compost. Yeah, it'll just keep growing from there. I have elephant ears that I chopped up, dug up from the crater, and I chopped them up, divided them. They're all in the greenhouse right now, just resting. Come the springtime, I'll probably be planting some of those, if not all of them, here in this bed. I'm going to try to grow some sweet pea in this bed come the springtime. There's a few other things that I may wind up putting in here, of course. What I couldn't show you really because they're just too small. I have baby foxglove growing in here right now, which is great. Again, last year, if you follow the channel, I had foxglove in this bed. The foxglove went to seed. I allowed it to go to seed. I shook out a lot of the seed into this bed. So I see a lot of baby foxgloves coming up. Come in here and just, start filling out the space. I'll probably put more foxglove in here. I do love foxglove. It's deer tolerant, which is great. It looks lovely, has lovely flowers. It basically takes care of itself. It'll go to seed, so new babies, they'll come up in the spring, and which is fabulous. Again, Now, if the foxglove started getting too much, or any self-seeding annual starts to get, not annual, biannual, is that what a foxglove is? Biannual, biperennial, something along those lines. But if it gets too much, you could always thin it out, take it out, treat it like weed, which again, may wind up doing in time. But for now, this bed has been expanded. It's one of the winter projects I wanted to get done. So now this bed is done. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. And hopefully in the springtime, once everything starts coming up, we'll do a spring garden tour and you get to see what's happening here in this bed. Please check out all the links below. I have social media and whatnot, places to get merch. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please leave them below. Again, if you're more of an expert than I am, or you've a lot more gardening experience than I have, please, if you saw anything here that you have questions or anything about, please leave those comments below. I'm always trying to learn, and again, the no-dig method was something I learned from watching Charles Dowding on YouTube, and it's something that has worked well for me, and I'll continue to use it going ahead in the future. That's about it for today. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.